watching YouTube one day. Okay, anyway. Not great? I like it. Okay, so I always pick out a little joke, right? And, oh, I'm not on. Now I'm on?
Yes.
Yay.
Hey, I'm wearing a skirt today. I can put this on me.
Yay, that's even better. Okay, anyway, this is, a lady wrote, we had a great 10-year-old cat named Jack, who just recently died. Jack was a great cat, and the kids would carry him around and sit on him, and it never even bothered him. He used to hang out and nap all day long on the mat in our bathroom. We have 3 kids, and at the time of the story, they were 4 years old, 3 years old, and 1-year-old. The middle one is Eli. Eli loved chapstick, loved it. He kept asking to use my chapstick and then losing it. Finally, one day I showed him in the bathroom that I kept my chapstick and explained he could use it whenever he wanted to, but he needed to put it right back in the drawer after he finished, because I used it several times a day myself. That year, on Mother's Day, we were having a typical rush around to try to get ready for church with everyone crying and carrying on. My 2 boys are fighting over the toy in the cereal box. Do they even do that anymore? Okay, I am trying to nurse my little one at the same time I'm putting on my eye makeup. Everything is a mess, and everyone has long forgotten that this is a wonderful day to honor me and the amazing job that is motherhood. We finally have the older one and the baby loaded in the car, and I'm looking for Eli. I have searched everywhere, and I finally go into the bathroom. There was Eli. He was applying my chapstick very carefully. Now you remember who Jack is?
Yeah.
To Jack's rear end. Eli looked right into my eyes and said, "It's chapped." Okay, there's an image for the rest of the day. I know, isn't that cute? I love it. Well, I was, at Art's house last night because we had Rich Martini here yesterday, who was fabulous. And, he actually did a process with us, and he brought Roxy up and myself up. But what he did was he said, I don't want to put you under hypnosis. I don't want to have you do a meditation. You don't need to do any of that stuff. So he asked us to pick somebody that we wanted to communicate with on the other side, the flip side. And we did it with our eyes open, standing up here. And it was quite phenomenal. So I'll probably have you guys just do a little short version of that today, because I want you to see how easy it is. And as my talk title says, it's called How to Use Your Secret Power. Well, it's not a secret, but we think it's a secret. So the power is that we have free will. We have the ability to communicate on multi-dimensions. We have the ability to talk to anybody we ever want on the other side. And yesterday he also had us, and I've done this I think one time before, but he also had us contact our particular wisdom council. And your council could be from 1 to 12. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. You could have 3, and that's perfect for you. But what I was thinking today, and what kind of came through as I was just sitting here, because he had me have the head of the council put into my body that when I'm thinking about something, there's going to be a sensation in my body when they're connecting to me. So I was thinking about this and thought, oh, this would be a cool process. Immediately, where it went into was exactly what happened yesterday. My foot up to about here, and I could feel an energy in my foot, and now I could feel it right in my back. But anyway, it was that, and I'm just sitting in, I think, drinking my tea this morning, and that's all I was doing, and I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, thanks, I'll do that. I will do that. Well, the other thing I started doing, and I pulled this book out last week, and I believe we have 2 or 3 of her books, different ones in the bookstore. And it's called Open Your Mind to Receive, which is exactly what Ernest Holmes teaches. It's by Catherine Ponder. And Catherine Ponder is a unity minister. So when I say some of these things, she talks about the Christ consciousness. So you don't think of Jesus, and if that bothers you, then change it. Change it to spirit, change it to God, change it to the goddess. I don't care. But what she's doing is saying that we have a power within us that can create whatever we desire. So the two things that I was looking at, the two chapters in this book, she was talking about your gift of release. And we always sing that song at the end, I release and I let go. And I talk about a lot of, how you surrender it up. And some people have an issue with surrender. How many think surrender is like, I know, right? And you're not. And that's not what it's about. So how about releasing it? That is actually, there's no charge on it. You're just releasing it. So I'm going to read just the very back of her book. And then there's a couple affirmations and stories that I want to talk about. So she talks about the synopsis. You have the gift of release to use on the mental, emotional, and physical planes of your life. And you can change anything by doing that. The act of release is one of the most effective ways to open your mind to receive. And we're always talking about that. And it frees you from tightness, tension, and grasping. Like, let's say you want money. And one of the stories, I'm going to share this right now because I don't think that Rich even knew he did it. And he was sharing about how he has a horrible credit score. And his car died. And he said, I had no way that we were going to be able to get another car. But then his wife, and this is what I want to say, he said, I need a car. He put his word out to the universe. Guess what? His wife looked up his credit score. It was good. They went over to the dealer, and it looked good. They got the car in the budget and exactly what they declared that they wanted. In fact, they got an even better car, something that he wanted even more. So as he left, the next day the dealership calls and said, we made a mistake. We should not have sold you your car because your credit score is horrible. Okay? Now, why I'm telling you this story is that I'm getting chills. His counsel and his guides took that, supernaturally changed the credit score. I know, right? So he could get the car. And I didn't say anything to him yesterday because he was talking to Roxy and I after, and I'm like, I'm going to call him because he's going to go, oh yeah. I don't think he was even aware of it. He was just like, matter of fact, telling us the story. So what he was doing, he was using his word, which is powerful, in order to create that, but he didn't even know it, which is fantastic. There's a man that died recently, Michael Newton, right? And about he says 3 months ago. I thought it was a lot longer than that. But he has two books that are real popular. I think he's written more than that, but two that are real popular. And his work that he started to do, he was a psychologist, I believe, at one time. Then he changed his whole practice because he was skeptical about this whole other side, the flip side, because he wanted evidence. So, Spirit started bringing him people in order to have them do past life regression. And he's like, oh, they're making it up. Then, when they went into their past life, he actually went and researched it, as Rich does too. And he found the people, the exact event, and everything they're talking about while they're under in the past life regression. And if you read Michael's his book, he talks about that. And so Rich said, he died. He goes, well, I'm taking on his work. I'm going to continue to do this. So he's a filmmaker, and I bought his documentary DVD talking about the flip side, so we'll show it here, because I think it'd be fun to watch. But the other thing that he said is that he declared, I am going to take over where Michael left off, and I'm going to continue to do this work. I'm going to document it. So he went to mediums, trance mediums that talked to the other side. Oh, they could see, oh, hi, there's your Uncle Jack, or whoever it is. And what happened is they never knew that they had this wisdom council. So he started connecting them in and started getting different information from that. But what he does, he interviews people who are under self-hypnosis. they will start talking about a life. What's the name? Where are you? What year is it? You know, not month and day, but what year are you in? You know, and I've done this a lot too. But what he said is that, again, he would look it up while they're under and find the information that it's valid. Because he goes, I'm the biggest skeptic on the planet. And that's exactly what he did. So he's taken that on, and then somehow Michael contacts him from the other side. And so Rich says, well, what are you doing over there? So are you trying to continue to do your work? And he goes, no. I'm not doing the work of people connecting into this side. I'm doing the work of having people from the flip side, from this side, learn how to connect into this realm, because we're a dense realm and they're at a high frequency. And so he said, that's my work on the flip side. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So it was such a great story. But this book, you know, she's talking about how to, your gift of release. And I thought as I'm driving up here that my daughter, when she was just in college and she wanted to go down to San Diego, and she went to junior college, and guess what? She was partying her little buns off. And so what ended up happening is she made a decision, and she let go that she had a horrible GPA, by the way, at that time, because she was partying, she wasn't doing everything she needed to do. So she came home one day and said, Mom, I declare that I am going to get into USC. I am getting my GPA up. So here's the gift of release, right? She's letting go of the past. And then she went to 2 junior colleges in our area in order to get her, you know, basic classes done so she doesn't have to pay. I don't know what USC is anymore, but it was at, I think, $10,000 or $15,000 a semester. It's expensive, probably more now. It may be like 40 now, I don't know, that was years ago. So anyway, she did that, she got her GPA up, she got accepted into the school. And it's hard to get into USC or to UCLA. They're extremely hard because there's so many people that want to come here. Number one, it's California, and they want to be here. So that's really using that gift of release. But the thing that she says too, in her summary, is that she says the release is a priceless gift because it is twofold. It eliminates error from your life, then it expands your good. And I thought, error from my life, what does that mean? And it means that sometimes we make decisions that aren't great for us, right? Have you ever made a bad decision? And then you beat yourself up, and then you are really just constantly beating yourself, oh, I should have done this, wow. So she's saying, and I'm thinking about this today because I kept saying, I'm beating myself up about a decision I made, and then this kept coming through. And I thought, wow, so I can release that thought, I can release that, you know, relationship, I can release that debt, whatever it is, and then allow it to be shifted. And what she says is that it expands your good. So anybody, you want to release something? What do you want to release, you guys, that you don't need in your life anymore? Is there something you want to release and then expand your good? So think about that for a moment, okay? Because I'm going to keep reading this so you'll really, I love how she says this. That which still belongs to you is never lost through release. In other words, even if you don't worry about letting go, because you're going to expand what happens in your life. Instead, your expanded good is much freer to move into your life. So are we holding on to something? Maybe it's a job, a relationship. It doesn't really matter what it is. You know, there was a woman I was reading, How to Be Debt-Free and Prosperous Forever, or something like that. It's from the Debtors Anonymous. And this woman had her credit card, and one of the processes was take your credit card and cut it up. Quit debting and quit putting money on the credit card, because as soon as you do that, the cash flow will start to come into your life, and if you're aware of it, right, then you're going to expand your good. So this woman says, but if I cut up this card, it has all this prestige, It's a bronze or whatever, platinum, American Express. She put that much energy into the credit card. And so once she did it, she was crying when she cut up her card because her identity was attached to the credit card. Isn't that crazy? But once she cut it up and let go of her credit cards, she has more money now than she ever has because the energy has shifted. So I'm telling you today, if there's something that you want to release, whether it's health, whether it's debt, whether it's a marriage or something that's not working, or a relationship that you want to shift, then release it. And one businessman said what he does, he'll just meditate for a few moments, take the thing that he wants to release, and then as he does that, then he's able to let it go. And he said it shifted his whole business just from that focus. She goes on to say, speak the word often, and she calls it the Christ mind, and we call it the super consciousness or the unconscious. Within you is releasing that which is no longer for your highest good. Do you love that? Your spiritual mind is filled with universal intelligence that knows what should be released. Speaking the word of release is the way it activates and it works for you. You like it? I like it. This was answered prayer for me. The subconscious activity of the mind releases that which has bothered you the most. Wow! So what's bothering you? Anything bothering you guys right now? Anything? The superconsciousness activity of the mind also responds when called upon for help through release. So if you don't know how to release and let go, you ask it to help you, bring in the people, the circumstances, and things that you desire. Along with speaking words of release, you should also write out that which you wish to eliminate from your life. We do this a lot in Science of Mind because it's not where, is everybody's life perfect in here and you have everything you want, right? Are you guys all perfect and everything's fabulous? It's okay, it's close, but do you want to make it even better? And that's what one minister always said to me. He said, that was nice, Reverend Maryum, but how can you make it even better? Oh, even better. And I like that because it's not a negative way of doing it. It's a positive way. How can I make this even better? I was asking somebody, I said, so what do you desire? What's your intention? And no, everything's great in my life. I go, oh really? So how about a deeper connection with the wisdom of the divine? Oh, that's a good one. And then that opened up, and then there was another one, and another one. And I said, how about then having more love in your heart and moving from the heart? And she said, leading with my heart. Oh, I love that, leading with my heart. Now, when we're leading with our heart, what's going to happen? There's an energy that's going to be attracted to us because we're leading with our heart, not with our head, with our heart. And our head is the thing that always gets in the way, right? Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's going to be horrible. That'll never happen. The skeptic takes over. The critic, I call it. So it says, you may even wish to make a forgiveness list and bless and release those names on it every day. To forgive means to give up. It is one of the most powerful forms of release. Yes, it is. And you can improve your life on all levels through accepting your gift of release. So I wanted to share one of the affirmations that she said. She said, so often we try to force new good into our lives when we have not yet made room to receive it. So in other words, we have to let go of the things that are inside of us in order to have it be released. So here's one that she said in this particular book. Let's see, I found, okay, so she's got this one. This one's actually good for people and letting go of people. So she says the Christ in me, so we'll change that so you're not going to have a charge on that. The divine in me now frees me from all resentment or attachment toward or from people, places or things of the past or present. I manifest my true place with the true people and with the true prosperity now. Wow, is that covering all of it? Do you like it? I know. Okay, so let's say it together. The divine in me now frees me from all resentment or attachment toward or from people. Places or things of the past or present. Places or things of the past or present. I manifest my true place with the true people and with the true prosperity now. Okay, feel your bodies. Just from saying that, do you feel that energy? Feel the energy and the release that that just created. I don't know if y'all feel energy, but I feel that.
Can we say it one more time?
Well, we've got, and wait, there's more. We can say that, and then I've got another one. Okay. But yes, we can if you want to. Are you writing this down?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's say, now this time, close your eyes, feel in your body, and be in the moment of allowing, what is it? There's something in your life. Maybe it's, I don't know, a neighbor. Maybe it's health. And visualize that, see it, and now say, the divine in me now frees me from all resentment or attachment. The divine in me now frees me from all resentment or attachment toward or from people. Toward or from people. Places or things of the past or present. Places or things of the past or present. I manifest my true place with the true people and with the true prosperity now. And the last thing she says, you can improve your life on all levels through accepting the gift of release. So y'all feel that? And as a businessman, he kept meditating on it, he kept releasing, and he was able to shift his whole business by just doing the simple process. He picked up one of her books and he changed everything. The other thing she was talking about, she was in an apartment, this is Catherine Ponder, and she was talking about, she was in this apartment and she really didn't like it, and her son went into the military, and she said, this is my son's apartment, but she didn't do anything about it. So finally she said, it's been another 10 years and I'm still in my son's apartment. And so she started to release and visualize what that would look like and what kind of place do I want. And I'm going to have to get rid of some of this furniture, and I'm going to have to let go of this, but I want a smaller place. And what she finally ended up happening after saying that, it was a brief period of time, somebody who read her books, it was a landlord of an apartment that overlooked a beautiful view, and he said, I want you to come and rent my place because I read your books and they're terrific. And so she let go of the things in the apartment, she let go, released her son's apartment, and got her own, where she was much happier and felt much freer and blessed. Now the second, and she's got several chapters, but I was picking the two that I felt were great. She calls it the gift of prophecy, and that kind of went with the use of your secret power. We talk about it, about how we can create, how we can manifest, how we can have whatever we desire into our lives, right? And I thought, the gift of prophecy, wow. And she said prophecy is through the spoken word. So I'm going to read the back, and then I'll go back into the stories. She said, you may have thought of the gift of prophecy as a special spiritual or psychic gift bestowed upon only a few. And I think of it that way, don't you? Yet you have this gift of prophecy, which you can use in simple ways to bring increased good into your life. And what we talk about in the Science of Mind, and what she's talking about, is the power of our word and what we say and how we put it out there. So we say affirmations, we put it in pictures, we do all of those things in order to shift what we desire. The word prophecy means an oral utterance, Part 1, your spoken words are your gift of prophecy. Now, do you have a different feeling tone with that versus I'm going to say an affirmation? I'm going to say from now on, I'm using my gift of prophecy. Now, does that feel more powerful to you? It does to me, and my mind goes, oh, that's cool. And it likes that more than, oh, I'm saying an affirmation. Because after a while, I think we kind of get a little rote with our affirmations, and we don't put the juice in them that we need. And what Ernest Holmes talks about is that we have to put the energy behind the affirmation. So if I said, I am now going to say my words of prophecy. I'm going to create that to happen in my life. Isn't that more powerful? And I feel like, oh, I want to do that. Because after all these years, come on, you know, I got to find another way to do stuff in order to get into another energy vibration. If you are not satisfied with your life, you can begin using your gift of prophecy to improve it. As you change your words, you change your world. As you improve your words, you improve your world. As you transform your words, you transform your world. Isn't that great? Because we say, change your thinking, change your life. Change your words, change your life. And the same thing, you know, Bobby's not here right now, but what happens is that, you know, he wears that band, and it's a complaint-free world. So when you're complaining, what are you doing? That's a gift of prophecy. Oh, that person's a jerk. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then what energy and what prophecy are you bringing into your life? And that's really what it's about. So I was with somebody, you know, the last week, and I thought, wow. And there's 2 or 3 people that I notice this now. They're completely different. You know why? Because I'm not complaining about them. And so the energy and the connection to them is different. So instead of being like, oh, they're a pain in the, I'm just like, oh, I am just going to hold them in love and light. And that shifted these individuals completely, and they presented themselves to me in a different way. And this is, you know, I'm a minister. I should know this? Because we all are practicing all the time. Practice, practice, practice. So if there's somebody that annoys the patootie out of you, I used to say 10 years ago when I got here, probably you remember this, Rick, I go, I'm getting my machete out. Boom, boom, boom. You know, because I had anger and I had a lot of issues. And what's interesting, I looked at this book, and the chapter that I had highlighted, how to handle difficult people. And it wasn't them, it was me. And we have to shift. It's about us changing our thinking, our way of being, how we can present more love. One of the things that Rick said yesterday, Rich, he said that we have the ability to put more love into the world, and that when we go to the flip side, the only thing that matters is the love and compassion that we showed people here. It wasn't building a building and creating a legacy. It wasn't giving millions of dollars to a medical, you know, illness. It was about, and he used this example, he's at his life review, and this man had died, and he goes, well, I gave all this money to charities so they could do good things. And they're like, well, that's fine and dandy, but that's not, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, that was on the low. What really, really was the most important you got a lot of points for? He said the most points was when you were on a bus, you went to the back of the bus, a woman was crying and in distress, and you put your arm around her and said, it's going to be okay. They said, his counsel from reviewing his life, that moment was more potent than all of the millions of dollars that he gave, because they said you were writing a check when you put your arm around that woman and said, oh baby, it's going to be okay. That was when we saw, wow, you've opened your heart, you're a loving soul, you're getting it. And then he said, oh, I guess I can practice that more when I come back. But isn't that beautiful? And think about that. You know, it's happened with me a lot of times where people will say, you listen to me, or you hug me, or you, and I'm like, well, that doesn't mean nothing. And then, but now that I heard that, I'm like, oh, that means everything. And to have compassion and to be in that loving space. Now he said, I can't remember what he said, but it was more like, what does your energy look like? So I'm going to have